By the way, my name is Versatile, aka I can build and trust a name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. And right now, we're going to react to Diddy's trial, July 2nd, um, day 3 of the jury deliberation. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. If you're a returning subscriber, hit the like button. You really know what to do. I ain't gonna tell you anything. You might as well hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Get me, get me. Lead by example, share by example. Get me. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Where was that? So, July 2nd. Uh, where was I? So, this was basically July 22nd, was day 35 of Sean Combs' federal trial in Manhattan, Southern District of New York, presided over by Judge Arun Subramaniam. It marked the culmination of 8 weeks of proceeding, which began with jury selection on 5th of May 2025. Opening state, like we all know that, right? We know that. All right. All right. So the final verdict from the jury deliberation was in the morning session. Jury resumed deliberations following a deadlock on the RICO charge. Yeah, reported on the 1st of July when they had reached verdicts on counts 2 to 5. Now, bearing in mind, they didn't mention anything about what they feel he is guilty on or what he is not guilty on. Yeah, and the judge basically wanted them to reach an agreement on all those charges. And what that basically means is we need a verdict on 1, 2, 3, count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, count 5. We need a verdict. Is he guilty on that? Yes or no? You know what I mean? That's as simple as it gets. I mean, yeah. So after 1.5 additional hours, totaling 14 hours over 3 days, the jury delivered its final verdict at approximately 10:30 a.m. I need you to. This is why I asked before, if you were watching earlier. This is why I asked, how long should the jury deliberate over a case like this? Not even just a case like this, a case in general. Do you know what I mean? Especially if it's over 7 weeks, you've heard the testimonies, you've seen the evidence. Do you know what I mean? How long should it take? Like how long? Like how long should it take? Forget that there was a 4th of July holiday. Forget the holidays for a moment. Imagine if that wasn't there. How long would it take? How long should it take? And I personally, wait for it. I'll say it later. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so what are the verdicts? I'll say my thing and I'll ask what we're gonna say. So their verdicts are on count 1, RICO, not guilty as jurors found insufficient evidence of a criminal enterprise involving predicate acts like blank trafficking and blank bribery or narcotics distribution. Really, huh? Really? Now, I'm not saying that because I wanted him to, I wanted Diddy to be guilty on that count. I'm just saying, remember if you watched earlier and watched my other reactions, you could see that there was blatantly evidence. Blat- Blatantly evidence. And within count 1, bear this in mind, they mentioned about the blank. Do you know what I mean? They mentioned that. They mentioned the blank trafficking. They mentioned like this is what I don't understand. I think that's in count. Anyway, I'll get into it now. Yeah, that's in count 2, which we're gonna talk about now. Count 2, right? Blank trafficking. Cassie not guilty in regards to Cassie's situation. Not guilty due to a lack of proof of force, fraud, or coercion beyond a reasonable doubt. How, Sway? How? No, I'm playing. No, for real. The irony of me mimicking Kanye West when Kanye was heavily supporting Diddy. Okay, man, I'm so thirsty. I can't even. Yeah. No, for real. I need to ask this question, right? Like the genuine question. The genuine question I have, right? This is why I mentioned what I mentioned earlier in regards to the story, in regards to if someone, do you know what I mean? Like, what's your thoughts on what coercion is? In fact, even when we get into that, I'm going to, I'll do it afterwards. I'll look into it afterwards. Anyway, the meaning of it, the actual meaning of coercion. In fact, no, that'll be another day, another time, another day. I'll get into it separately in regards to what is a RICO, what is it, what's coercion. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That we'll get into that. All right, so boom, yeah. So count. So yeah, I mentioned that. So count three, transportation for blank in regards to Cassie, um, guilty based on evidence of interstate travel, example 2016 Miami to Los Angeles, and payments, example the $2,500 Gucci transfers for Blankoffs. So I'll leave your answer comments below. So how can they find Diddy guilty on count three if you don't find him guilty on count one or even count two? I genuinely believe, like, it's I genuinely believe when it comes to these type of cases, it seems too obvious what was going on here. Too obvious. But anyway, so count four, blank trafficking in regards to Jane, not guilty as jurors question coercion evidence. You mean the same evidence that was heard from Sean Combs that he actually used the word coercion? Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, like you can question her motives in regards to, the lifestyle that she chooses to live and whether she, you know what I mean? Like you can question that, but at the same time, if someone's paying your rent and you like, and they're forcing you to do things that you don't really want to do, and like, isn't that not coercion, like, or manipulation, or do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to think properly, like forget who Jane is for a moment, because some of you may assume it's, you know what I mean? But the reality is, you can't think to say that's not coercion. I it I could be wrong, and you could say, yeah, well, she testified. Well, I mean, she had to. She was under the court of law, like subpoena. And if you don't, you know what I mean? Then, okay, what about Gina? Well, they couldn't get a hold of her. Do you know what I mean? They can't just arrest someone because they need to be. In fact, that's a good question actually. Can you be arrested if you've been subpoenaed? But then that means it's a thing of, did they see a letter? Did they get a phone call? Like, I don't know. The Gina situation is a really strange one. But anyway, because imagine if she testified, would they have found Diddy guilty on count four and count three? No, well, count three they found him guilty, and count two and count one. You have to ask that question because you don't know what she was gonna say. You understand? We don't know. We don't know. We honestly don't know. But what we do know is there is evidence, not evidence, but well, there is evidence of her talking about her situation with Diddy, and she did talk about Diddy being violent to her. That's evidently out there. She's spoken on that. So anyway, count five. Transportation for blank Jane guilty, supported by travel receipts and testimony. So this is what doesn't make any sense, right? Because everyone would be like, oh, that means if Diddy is sorry, if Diddy is innocent on count two, that means oh Cassie's also should be, you know what I mean? Or I don't even know what people are saying properly, but they're trying to say that she's not a victim. But clearly she is a victim based on everything. But also, if you look at count three, her name is in regards to her why he's being found guilty. Like, I don't think people understand this case situation properly. I don't think they do. But anyway, so I need you to understand, yeah. When it comes down to these cases, everyone has a. In fact, let's look at this and find out the context of everything, right? The jury's focus on Cassie's 2016 hotel assault video, text messages, Sean Combs' apology, baby, I can't say it enough, I'm sorry, and Jane's testimony about coerced free Blankoffs being super high, underpinned the guilty verdicts. So how do you not find him guilty on count one? That looks, because the distribution of narcotics, is that not a predicate, a RICO, a predicate act? Like, I don't understand. If they had, I promise you, yeah, if they had more time to deliberate, like more time, like even if it's like a week, 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Like, this thing was like this all this time. I don't know. Like, if they had more time to deliberate, like literally more time, a week, 2 weeks, yeah, I say probably 2 weeks max. That's what I was gonna say. I reckon it should be 1 to 2 weeks max, yeah, to deliberate, and then come to your decision, and then come to your verdict, whether the person is guilty on the charge or not guilty on the charge. Because you're telling me, how can, like, you do you get a point I want to make? Like, do you get a point I want to make? Anyway, I'm gonna come to another conclusion after this, which is why I titled it the way I titled it. All right, so boom. All right, so the life anyway. The RICO acquittal stemmed from the absence of Gina's testimony and jurors' skepticism. Gina's absence. Damn, Gina. In the words of Martin, do you know what I mean? Like, damn it, Gina. Like, seriously, Gina. No. If you know Gina, if yeah, share this with her, because and I don't want to say this is all your fault, because then that makes me sound like I'm very, you know what I mean. But like, come on, man, really, that's not fair. You can't blame it on Gina. Let's not blame it on Gina. It's not Gina's fault. It's not, because even without Gina, like, if you're finding him guilty on count two and count five, sorry, no, count three and count five, you clearly should be finding him guilty on count one. Or am I missing the point? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, when I say it genuinely doesn't make sense, it genuinely doesn't make sense. It's like, for example, I'm going to use sport as an example, because sports is the only way I can find ways to make sense of this. For example, in sports, let's say football, I call you, some of you call it soccer, but I call it football. All right. And similar, some of you are familiar with Ronaldo or Messi. Let's just say Messi if you're in America, or whatever, right? 9 out of 10 times, if Messi is dribbling past 3 players or 4 defenders, 9 out of 10 times he's gonna score. Like, he's going to score. If he gets a direct free kick, he's going to more or less score. Like David Beckham back in the day. Like, I remember when he scored that free kick against Greece to get uh, England. I think it was the World Cup qualification. It was for international tournament qualification. That goal secured them that game to get the qualification, basically. Last minute free kick. He scores. Yeah, he scores from that free kick. Like the point I'm trying to make is, you know, especially in sports, like, you know, there is an element of luck here and there. Don't get that twisted. But like, you know, if someone has honed in a skill for so much, for so long, they're able to use that skill in particular moments, especially if they do it on a consistent basis, right? So if he's doing that on a consistent basis and he's proven time and time and time and time again that it works, do you know what I mean? Like, do you know how much times, do you know how much videos, yeah, there are of Lionel Messi dribbling past players? Same thing with Eden Hazard. Same thing with Cristiano Ronaldo. Free kick situation. Same thing with Roberto Carlos. Same thing with, you know what I mean? David Beckham, Ronaldinho. Like, when England commentators trying to say, "Oh, I don't think he meant that." Nah, he meant that. He's Brazilian. Do you know what I'm saying? He didn't mean to cross it. Like, he meant to score, and he scored. Do you understand? Like, I think I need to break it down further, yeah. Like, when it comes down to everything else, right? Bear in mind that when it comes down to um sorry, bear with me for a second, I'm just doing something on my phone real quick. All right, so when it comes down to these charges, right? When they're so blatantly obvious, you find the person guilt. Now I'm just waffling. But anyway, let's stop waffling and stay focused. The point I'm trying to make is, if someone is in the position to, so I'm just seeing something real quick. All right, so if you're in the position to talk about cases and all that stuff there, I'm not saying talk about cases, I mean being part of the jury selection, right? Surely, 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 you can't blame it on Gina, because she's not necessarily, it's not like she was needed. Like, it would have helped, but it's not like she was needed, all right? But like I said, guilty on count 5 and count 3, but you're telling me Diddy's not guilty on count 1 or count 2 or count 4. Don't add up. You need more than a week. You needed more than a week. I've actually lost or track of the point of what I was talking about. Now I just sound like I was waffling like a madman. Let's think. All right, the point I was trying to make is, certain people spend time to hone in their skills to be able to deliver when it matters, if that makes sense. So it's the same thing with jury selection. If they had more time to deliberate, they will be in a position. So I just seen something. Anyway, yeah, let me see where Lewis Hamilton came in still. Anyway, I can look at Formula One later. Like, imagine, yeah, it's like you got to think, yeah, 2 days to deliberate, or 3 days, if that, 3 days, and you're telling me you found him guilty on 3 and 5, but you couldn't find him guilty on 1, 2, and 3. Oh, so 1, 2, and 4. Yet they all are more or less interconnected. Am I wrong? Like, leave your answer to comments to Triple O. Am I wrong for saying that? Like, he literally was found guilty on 2 acts, yeah, count 3 and 5, yet they are similar to count 1, 2, and 4. Like, let's run by those cases again, yeah. Count 2, so count 1 is racketeering, in fact. Yeah, racketeering conspiracy, where I mentioned the blank conspiracy, the blank trafficking, blank, all that stuff there. Then count 2, blank trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. All right. So count 3, which he found guilty on, transportation to engage in blank. Yeah. Which that term, what is it in regards to engage in blank? Yeah. Was also mentioned in count 1. Yeah. Like I'm just trying to make sense of it the way that I'm thinking in it. I could be wrong, but anyway. And then obviously, yeah, count 5, it found guilty on transportation to engage in blank. So you're telling me, hold on, let me go back up properly. So you're telling me he's only been found guilty based on 2. All right, so he's found guilty on 2 acts similar to Jane and Cassie, but at the same time, you don't think it's coercion? Really? That literally doesn't genuinely make sense to me. I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, so a note from from June 30th about Joe 25 resistance to the instructions, and July deadlock note citing unpersuadable opinions indicated challenges, but the modified island charge on July 1st resolved the impasses. All right. So it was obviously Sean Collins may see that as a win, but I don't know if you've been found guilty on 2 charges, and this is the other thing I'm going to say. If you've been found guilty on, look, maturing. Now we're getting to the title of the live stream. Maturing is realizing that Diddy, yeah, this Diddy trial exposed literally a lot of people, not just Diddy or Sean Combs, should I say? It didn't just expose him. It didn't just expose him. It exposed how some people view this particular case or situation. A lot of people, and you could say social media or whatever, like on social media, some people want to say, oh, yeah, well, this was never a RICO. Where's the RICO? Where's the RICO? Blah, blah, blah. Or some people are questioning whether Cassie was really a victim, which she was all participate in. Yeah, like humans are very complex beings. That's the fact. That's just genuine facts. That humans are very complex beings. So when you add that into it, you got also take into account that with Cassie, she's not like, put it this way, at least she testified, right? Gina didn't, but she's spoken on situations with Diddy before. All right, Jane testified, and she testified despite being, despite Diddy also paying for her rent. You understand? She testified against him. So, just to conclude, I just feel like some people need to understand that Diddy's still going to jail. Now, you wanna know how long he's gonna go to jail for? In fact, there's something else that was also mentioned. Give me a second. So the defense arguments. Agnavour argued that jury's rejection of RICO blank trafficking showed Sean Combs was not a kingpin, and his $600 million fortune was not liquid enough for flight. Shapiro's letter emphasized the not guilty verdicts. Now, the prosecutors counter Comey cited Sean Combs' history of violence and access to resources supported by Cassie's letter and evidence like the 2016 video. Criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider noted the letter's impact on Subrenium's decision, and that is in regards to the bail denial. All right. Where was I? All right. And so you have to ask, why was he denied bail? So now it's the case of how long would he go to jail for? The thing is, we can all speculate and be like, oh, he's going to jail for 10, 20 years. Might not. Some may say, oh, it's 4 to 6 years. Might not. We don't know. But we do know in like early October 2025, that is when he will get his sentencing. Now, whether he does time on what, not even whether he does time, he's definitely going to do time. I don't know where people get the idea that he's not going to do time. He's 100% doing time. Right now, he's in jail. He's been in jail since September 2024, since his arrest. All right. And obviously that's going to be credited to his sentence as well. So bear that in mind. So that's like a year and a couple of weeks of that. So I think you need to put so many things into perspective, right? So many things into perspective. How long would he go to jail for? And you know what I mean? You could say, well, Brian Stills 2 for 2. He beat a RICO charge. No, he didn't really beat a RICO charge. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. I would probably explain the Young Thug one in another time. And this whole Sean Combs one, you can tell it's not that he really beat the RICO. It's more of the case of I genuinely believe that the jurors wanted to be done with this case, especially before the holidays. Basically, that's basically it. Because I could be wrong, but I think had they had a week or 2 weeks, they would find him guilty on all charges. Because think one more time, how can you find someone guilty on count 3 and count 5 if you don't find them guilty on count 1, 2, and 4, especially count 1? How? Just how? Leave your answer comment section below. Just how? Just how? Yeah, because yeah, 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 yeah. But that's it for now, man. We'll be back for the sentencing. We'll be back for other things in regards to what is a RICO. You know what I mean? And yeah, but I'll react to more stuff in regards to the situation, other people's reactions, especially 50 Cent's reactions, and obviously Gene Deal's reactions and stuff like that. And this ain't the case whether it's a win. Like think about this. One more thing. Again, this is not a win for Sean Combs or his family. It's not a win, regardless. He's being found guilty on 2 charges. Yeah, he's being found guilty on 2 charges. Yes, he may have been acquitted on 3 of them, but that's not to say he hasn't been found guilty on 2 of them. Which, like I said, if you put them all together, technically he should be found. He really should have been found guilty on all 5, or found not guilty at all. It's one of the two. Like, that's no disrespect. I'm just keeping it real. But anyway, oh, but I do believe in regards to this whole situation, it technically is a win for the prosecution team. Even though some may say, yeah, but they lost the RICO charge. They lost on the RICO, but did they? If the jury didn't deliberate, then it's a mad one. I can't even lie to you. It's a genuinely a mad one because again, this is why I strongly believe, and I strongly believe if the jury teams to be full of lawyers, entertainers, sorry, not entertainers, lawyers, practicing ones, retired ones, solicitors, all that stuff there. You know what I mean? They should be the ones to focus on being in part of the jury. Now I get it. Some of them may be in a situation where they have clients and they don't have time, but that's the whole point. Do you know what I mean? Like, so maybe it should be retired attorneys then. Maybe that. I don't know. And again, it should be 6 women and 6 men, especially when you're dealing with a case like this. Because how do you have 8 men and is it 4 women? No. That does not make any sense. All right. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Yeah, man. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. And yeah, man.